Hey everybody, this video is going to be focused on how you're going to be able to gather feedback on your blog, track the different blog posts that you complete, and then whether or not those blog posts are meeting some of our expectations that we've defined for you, and then how your blog is ultimately going to be assessed. So you'll notice that on the screen currently I have your Wildcat Workshop Reading and Writing portfolio. This is probably going to look a little bit different now that you've been working with it a little bit, but I want to point out some important information. First of all, you'll notice that there's a space here for your blog dashboard link in your viewable blog. We're going to come back to that here in a few minutes. You'll notice that we have our blogging norms here and our blogging rubric, both of which are hyperlinked. If you just hover over theirs, you'll be able to open them up. And then you'll notice that we have our Wildcat Workshop teacher blog that's here. And then down at the bottom in your different tabs, we're actually going to be working a lot in the free writing tracker, which when you open it up, it'll look like this. But if you scroll down, you'll notice that there's a whole section that is focused on blogging. And so when it comes to crafting really positive, engaging, really well put together blog posts, there are certain norms that we would expect you to follow. Again, those norms can be accessed on this main tab. If you open up our leveled blogging norms, there's kind of a little checklist in this format here for you. But what we've also done is in your free writing tracker, we have taken those same checklist items and we have given you the ability to track how you're doing on your particular blogs at any given time. And so when you're crafting a blog, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the title of your blog, and that's the specific post at that point. So this is going to be the title of my post. And when I've got that here, then I'm also going to hyperlink that. Again, I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in just a second. Then as I'm actually creating my post, I'm going to be working my way right across this line, and I'm going to be checking off things as I'm done. If I've got a really engaging title, then I'm going to make sure to check that off. If I know that I'm really doing a good job of staying focused on a single idea, then I will check that off, so forth and so on, so that by the time that you are done with class, you'll know exactly what you've gotten accomplished, and then you'll even be able to mark whether or not these things are all the way complete. If your blog post is almost complete, in which case you would know what you had left to do based on your checklist. If it's partially complete, or if there's just nothing on it that's complete at all. Again, we're really hoping that this is going to help you be able to track what you have or don't have in your blog posts to make sure that they're written at a really high level. In order to understand more about what we're looking for in each of these items before you check them off, that's what the rubric is for. And so again, in our main writing dashboard, you'll be able to access the rubric there. And in our free writing tracker, if you just hover over where it says blogs, then that's our rubric there as well. I already have this open for you, so we can go ahead and take a look at that. What you'll notice is at the top of the rubric, you've got the ISTE Creative Communicator and our ISTE Knowledge Constructor. These two things are going to be a part of your 21st century assessments that will show up in the gradebook for both reading and writing at the end of second quarter and at the end of fourth quarter. But all throughout the year as we go along, you'll be assessed on this rubric so that we can monitor how you are progressing in each of these areas. For both of these categories, we're going to be looking at what's down here in some of these additional categories to be able to give you an overall designation in these two areas. So that's what those are for overall. Then you'll notice that each of those items that are on your checklist will show up here in some way, shape, or form. And you'll be able to notice that advanced up at the top is always going to be like you're going above and beyond in each of those categories. The proficient category, you'll notice, is grayed out, just like our actual criteria column is grayed out. That's because if you're meeting the standard right at where the standard is describing, then that really is proficient. And so this is the goal for all students, is really to be in this category here or above So that's that proficient category. The basic category is going to be meaning that there are a few things that are missing or you've got some opportunities for improvement when we look at the proficient column. And then if you get a designation of below basic, really what that's meaning is that we've got a lot of opportunities to improve as we move forward and we're trying to meet this standard. So what I want you to do right now is I actually want you to pause this video and I want you to take your 7th grade blogging rubric that you have on paper. It should be sitting inside your Avid binder. I want you to pause the video and I want you to take a minute to go through and I want you to annotate this particular blogging rubric to make sure that you understand what is required of you for each of these different criteria. When you're annotating, that might look like underlining specific parts of the standard or criteria itself to make sure that you remember things. It might look like drawing some arrows and writing off to the side what some of the things are that you've done to either meet that standard in the past or what you think you're going to do in order to meet that standard. You could ask questions. So often what I hear from students is sometimes they have questions about what it takes to get to that advanced category. So you might write some questions off to the side. You may also, if there's any vocabulary that you don't understand, if there's anything that's listed that you feel like you haven't learned yet, you might underline or circle or star those in some way, shape, or form. So when your rubric has been annotated, I will be able to clearly see underline of some significant information in different places all over it. I will be able to see some symbols. Maybe you've starred some things, circled some things. Again, they need to be relevant for you, and it's always good to leave a key for me so that I know why you've marked things the way that you've marked them. And then I also need to see some writing in the margins so that I can see questions, so that I can see ideas and things that you've had. So go ahead and pause the video now, and I want you to go ahead and annotate your rubric. Now that you've finished annotating your rubric, what I'm actually going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to go and create your blog. So in the past, you have used Blogger, and unfortunately, Blogger is going away. That's not something that our school district did or is creating a restriction for. That is something that is coming from Google. And so because our blog is a really big deal and we are growing at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we're going to have to take some time to set up our new blog space and to make sure that you guys are ready to go for that. In order to make that happen, what you're going to do is you are actually going to head into our Wildcat workshop course. And at this point, it's probably going to be easier to split screen what's happening. And you're going to make it to our 1.5 blogging in 7th grade assignment. This is where you found our Pear Deck originally, and this is getting toward the end of our Pear Deck. Step 2 is going to be joining our EduBlog class, and there are specific directions inside this document and things that I need you to do in order to join that class and to set up your new blog space. When you are finished with step 2, do not go on to step 3 until you've come back to this video. So when you're done with step 2, we need to set a couple of things up. So when you're done with step 2, you're actually going to come back to your reading and writing dashboard, and you're going to make sure that you have a dashboard link and your viewable blog link. So I've already got my new website, my new blog set up. And so this right here is my dashboard. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy that dashboard link. And then I'm going to go right here, click inside that cell, and I'm just going to paste it so that it's there for me and I can get there whenever I need to. I also need my viewable blog link. And in order to find that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over the name of my blog, which should be at the top of my screen. And I'm going to click Visit Site. Once I do, you'll notice that it'll be the name of my blog, .edublogs.org. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, go to my spreadsheet, and where it says Viewable Blog, I'm going to paste that in there. Your viewable blog should end in edublogs.org. When you're done with those two things, then you are officially finished with the Pear Deck in this final video. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to that 1.5 assignment. You should be all the way done with steps 1 and steps 2 at this point. And then you're going to head into your step 3, which is creating and publishing your first blog post of this current school year. Great job going through this particular assignment. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you have a good idea of what great blogs are going to look like, how you're going to be assessed. All the feedback that you receive is going to be specific to that blogging rubric. We're going to be asking to see how you're tracking things inside that free writing tracker, where your blogs are. You'll make sure that you can hyperlink things, so you'll get to the point where you can see your different, so here's the link to my actual individual blog. So if you've got your blog title here, you can click insert link. And now I've got a hyperlinked post title here. So when you have a conference with a teacher, this is what we're going to be focused on. We're going to be focused on giving you feedback on the rubric. And then ultimately you'll be assessed on this rubric, and we'll be able to come back and we'll be able to see what areas you really have to grow in. Again, great job on everything. Please let us know if you have questions.